Okay, I've got
Okay,
it for
perfect.
5 seconds. You
Okay.
want 15?
I think
10?
so. It should be
It
enough.
just seems like it should take longer to fade in, and it didn't agree
think-
on there.
I think the only thing that might be hard is because we have the awards backstage. We need someone to give the awards to people.
We will
Is
have the
Eddie
screening
backstage?
as soon as we're ready to start.
Or is Eddie just
Content
coming?
because you can cut to that.
I love it. They're looking to take photos in complete darkness.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Should we be
thank
nice
you.
and give them
No.
photos?
They can go outside if they want to do that.
Sorry.
This is a dream come true. Oh, is this the picture?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
What would you like, sir?
So I'm gonna ask you.
If I jump out of your ball crack,
Yeah, I need
can I
you
hear
to.
this?
Oh, sure.
Because this wireless.
Yeah. So
It's
come
not
on this
working
side.
correctly because all the headsets
So
are wired
when
differently.
I cut to the camera, you need to turn this one, click this on button, and then and then click these two on. So turn this one off and turn these two on when we start.
Okay, what else do I
They're
use?
like paying for office right now.
I'm going to put this straight down. Can everybody hear me?
Do you just want to put this somewhere where you can remember where it is?
Holla.
Thank you very much.
Design.
Somebody give me a time call. Where are we at? Oh, I still did it wrong. Blast and dash. There you are, Brent.
Yeah, so it'll be that one, and then you got it. It's I want both the XLR on, and I want GFX off. I have literally, I've worked here for 2 years now, never done anything
Here.
in here. It's a dream come true.
I promise I was just waiting for people to sit down, not for you to clap. So thank you for that. My name is Michael Carey, class of 1998. I didn't have time to make a name tag, but I did have time to start this. The theater is a celebration of the timeless and the impermanent. We tell stories thousands of years old, and yet each performance vanishes the second the final words are spoken. Within this time-honored tradition, people come and go, but some leave their mark that speaks through generations. It's no secret that all of us here have been blessed by a particular someone whose talent, wisdom, and passion for the art promises to be an enduring legacy for generations. That's why we're here tonight, in this special place, to celebrate this special person, Stephen Sondheim. I'll wait till we catch up. Maybe he's known best for his snappy lyrics or the way he can spin an unhummable tune. Yes, I'm still talking about Stephen Sondheim. But little is known about his upbringing. Born to a pair of musicians in Fayette, Missouri in the crisp fall of 1956, Stephen's unlikely journey into the theater began. Fayette held little in the way of the arts for him, so he and his family packed up and moved to the bitter colds of Wisconsin. Little talked about are his early years as an actor, probably because he always found himself in the shadows of his betters. One particular shock to his confidence came when he auditioned for the role of Puck in a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. But it was never meant to be. That honor went to a young rising star, Claude Pensis. Here he comes. Pensis, coincidentally, was also a Missourian expatriate whose parents left that same small town for a better life up north. The lives of these two men would intertwine for decades in a story that is almost, here he comes, this is it. Their lives would intertwine for decades in a story that is almost too good to be true. Coping with the loss of that role, Stephen vowed it would never happen again. He determined to learn everything he could from his new rival, following him to college at the University of Wisconsin at Oshkosh, and then to graduate school at Madison. Sadly, Stephen was rejected again for the directing program. And he had to watch as Claude Pensis found another field in which to flourish. Relegated to studying music, he toyed with the idea of composition, the first of which was a prophetic ballad to the greatest man he ever knew.
Director of Effington. He made the students go up and down, no matter how much they pout and frown. And what if the top of the ladder swayed? They were firmly instructed to not be afraid. By Pensis, by Claude Pensis. Attend the tale of Professor Claude. By his talents we're often awed. What he'll do next, well, who's to say? And he wouldn't want us to give that away.
A Stravinsky Sondheim was not, but his first attempt would prove valuable to him later on. Not half as valuable, though, as the brief stint he did have on stage. Years after yearning, he finally got his chance to shine, and in a remarkable turn of events, it was Claude Pensis who gave it to him. You can't make this stuff up. Stephen was cast in not 5, not 6, but 2 of Claude Pensis's productions in graduate school. Though not a leading role, he relished his time in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, finding the role of Alfred. Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, Alfred. Almost as rewarding as his role as the understudy for the adding machine in Elmer Rice's play of the same name. It didn't even seem to bother him that the adding machine in the show, who could do his job in half the time and be operated by a teenage girl, never got sick, was never late, indeed never actually went on stage itself, thereby preventing Stephen from performing once again. He said it was enough for him just to be in the room to be directed once again by Claude Pensis. Let me find my place. Yes, the very same. Is it a coincidence? We think not. Mr. Sondheim would often look back on this time as formative, watching Mr. Pensis, as he so deferentially called him, directly laying the foundation for the high quality of excellence Sondheim was known for. In another work by Sondheim, written under the pseudonyms of both Gilbert and Sullivan, he hinted at those theatrical secrets he learned in those rehearsals so long, so very, 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 very long ago.
If someday it may come to pass, a pet peeve must be crowned. He's got a little list, Claude's got a little list of theatrical offenses upon which it's mostly frowned. And they surely won't be missed. By Claude, they won't be missed.
They're actors who use pen instead of pencils in their scripts. All students who just mosey back from lengthy bathroom trips. And those who like shows from that place that started with a mouse.
Oh boy!
And those who won't get off their phones out in a darkened house. The actors doing Shakespeare,
Speaking British, they insist.
they none of them be
Be missed. By Claude, they won't be missed. He's got them on the list.
He's got them on the list, and they'll none of them be missed. By Claude, they won't be missed.
There are those who can't remember all their blocking on the stage, and the dreadful egotist, he's got me on the list? And the people who forget their lines as written on the page, they never would be missed. By Claude, they won't be missed.
There are those who won't project out loud, they're called the whisperers. It really drives them up the wall, they sound like amateurs. And those who stick religiously to the meter of the bard, ba-dum, 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 they're trying way too hard. Warned not to be a slave to that, and yet they still persist. I don't think they'd be missed, I'm sure they'd not be missed. He's got them on the list, he's got them on the list, and I don't think they'll be missed by Claude, they won't be missed.
The actors who come unprepared with shoes that show their toes.
The plagiarist, he's got them on the list.
And those who dare to aspirate to their mouth, not their nose.
I don't think they'll be missed. I'm sure they don't be missed.
And all who mispronounce a word like dint and git and palm, like nails upon a chalkboard, those you me had a qualm.
To those who can't be bothered to find the meaning of a word, or look up the family history of Richard III. But it really doesn't matter whom you put up on the list, for none of them be missed. They'd none of them be missed. And they put them on the list, you may put them on the list, and they'll none of them be missed. By Claude, they won't be missed.
So it was at this point in the roads that these two titans of the stage parted ways. Sondheim selling out to compose and write for the glittering lights of Broadway, hawking his wares for Tony Awards and canoodling with talentless celebrities. And Claude Pensis to Arizona to create not just art, but artists in the cultural heart of the entire West Valley of Phoenix. Ethington Theater. But what of Sondheim? As a special treat tonight, we have, I'm going to slow down a little bit. There he is. There's Ethington Theater. What of Sondheim? I tend to talk too fast. As a special treat tonight, we have an expert on the subject, someone who has earned countless PhD in the history of musical theater. The man who supplied us with much of the groundbreaking, breathtaking, and borderline unbelievable information you have heard tonight, Mr. Brendan Pensis. Please give him a round of applause as he comes up to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Yes, when I was asked to speak tonight, I was humbled at the prospect of honoring one of the greatest theatrical minds the world has ever known. I thought, of course, they'd ask me. Sondheim is practically my middle name, but then I thought, it's not actually. It's Brahm. And come to think of it, I don't know anything about the man, but I know a whole heck of a lot about Dad, wherever he is. Fun fact, though, Sondheim did write my dad's favorite musical, and perhaps the only musical he's actually enjoyed, Godspell. I'm just going to let that bother people. Before I begin talking about Dad, I would like to talk about me, because why not? You asked me to. I've been so incredibly fortunate to have interacted with so many of the people in this room, at various stages of my life. I grew up in this building. I spent every summer here from the age of 5 until I actually attended school here in 2004. It was my playground, my home away from home. I didn't have an older sibling in the traditional sense, still don't, but I had so many incredible role models and some not so incredible ones too. You know who you are. I truly owe a lot of you an awfully big thank you in helping me become who I am, so thank you. But now, on to better and far more interesting things. Dad, when Mr. Carey asked me to prepare a speech, I asked what he wanted me to talk about. And he said people would like to know about Dad outside of GCU, not as Professor Claude, but as Dad. I was immediately overwhelmed as thoughts flooded my brain, but then I remembered I had about 2 months to put something together and relaxed. So when I started writing the speech this morning, I thought, there's there's no better way to begin a speech about my dad than with a quick game of favorites, how he liked to begin all of his... Yeah, great. So if you'll indulge me, we can just quickly go around the room. And if everyone could just give me their favorite French philosopher named Pierre, that would be great. Oh. Well done, Jason Slater. Jokes aside, my dad's incredible. He's smart, he's funny, he's creative, he's competitive. He's very serious when the moment calls for severity. He could be the most intimidating 5'7" man, I think perhaps since Napoleon, when he wanted to be. But that truly came from a place of love, strange as it may have been to think that in the moment. He knew how serious a situation was and wanted you to act in kind, and he never turned it on for the sake of scaring or intimidating, which is what made it all the more effective. As a father, he was very much the same, though framed slightly differently. He's incredibly caring, supporting, nurturing. He never pushed us to do anything we didn't want to do, a byproduct perhaps of being forced to take violin lessons with his mom as a kid, something he, let's just be nice and say, didn't appreciate very much. But when we showed an interest in absolutely anything, he was there to support that. Our 1996 computer came with an actual encyclopedia, pre-Wikipedia days, and whatever my sibling or I would show an interest in, we would be met with pages of information to help us cultivate our passion, whatever it was. I was thinking quite a bit about my dad and conversations we've had over the years, and the most important conversation, honestly for me, that we ever had came when I was in the 4th grade. I had just gotten a B- in math class, which I thought was going to be the death of me. And I was very afraid, obviously, to tell Dad, so I decided the car ride from my friend Steve's house back to our house was the best time for this. I told my dad and was ready to be in some serious trouble, but he was pretty calm, and I was kind of confused by this. I asked him, is that okay? And he simply turned to me, is that your best? And I don't remember the rest of the car ride, and I was 9, so there were girls and video games and other shenanigans, so it definitely wasn't my very best. But this comment stuck with me for 28 years. Is that your best? Dad didn't care if we won or lost, got the solo or the big part. He only cared that we tried our best and truly pushed ourselves to be the best in a given situation. And he was ready and eager to help us be our best. As I got older and I began thinking of some of the students, some of you all here, more as peers and less like older siblings, I remember some of them would give me a hard time and say, oh, you're just like your dad, which is not something a teenager wants to hear. But as I've gotten a bit older and now have 2 little ones of my own, I often reflect back and think that that was just about the nicest thing anyone could have ever said to me. Love you, Dad. Before we move on and hear from some of the designers who have worked alongside my dad over the years, I would like to briefly acknowledge 2 designers who should be here but tragically can't, Sheila Corley and Paul Bridgman. This building, if you want to clap for them, that's fine, yeah. This building, this school, most of you, certainly my dad, wouldn't be who he is. So if you will, just join me in a moment of silence for them. Thank you. I think somebody's coming up next. Jeff Thompson's coming up next. You spelled my name wrong. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Go back. I've been standing here this whole time? I take it all back.
Well, outside of the fact that you misspelled my name, I'm happy to be here. No kidding. Okay, anyway, well, let's see. I met Claude 40 years ago when he called me at ASU to see if he could find someone to design a set for him. And so I supplied the best student I had, which wasn't saying much at the time. But I guess she did a good job because I think she did maybe a couple of Claude, how many plays did she do for you? 3 or 4. Well, that's 2 more than I thought she'd do. Anyway, she did. I guess she did fine. And after a while, I only met him over the phone. But a few years later, we discovered we both played tennis. So I would come over here when this place was pretty much a cow pasture in this theater, and play tennis over at courts that no longer exist. And ever since then, he's been a very close friend of mine. We have done many plays together, as he as a lighting designer, myself as a scene designer. We did some things at Southwest Shakespeare, Shakespeare Sedona, some interesting things with some interesting people. Most of those directors were people that are still friends of mine, but I don't think either of us would want to work for them. And let's see. And then also he did at least 2 plays at ASU that I was the scene designer for. He was the lighting designer for. Let's see, what were they? Oh, Fly Photo. And that was directed by a friend of ours, Oscar Hiner, who was a person that decides to embrace whatever the last person he spoke to. So every time we'd have a production meeting, everything would change, depending if he talked to Claude or to me or the lighting designer. And then we did the birds for a person that has passed away. But it was a pretty good production, a very beautiful one, beautifully lit by Claude. And then finally, after umpteen years, he asked me to come over here after much pleading on my part, and I designed 3 plays here, and all of them were great. And I would say that Claude was probably one of the easiest directors I've ever worked for. He was very eager to accept the designs I came up with, which any designer will say is a wonderful thing. And I am happy to say that he's been a friend of mine for 40 years. Thank you very much.
So I would like to lower your expectations, as I am a designer and not an orator. I've been told I have 3 minutes, so here I go. So I met Claude when I was applying for a job here in the late 90s, and somehow I bamboozled him into hiring me, and that was great. And so I started working here part-time, doing the costumes, and then gradually it became a little bit longer and a little bit more involved, and I taught, and then he was very supportive of me as I went to grad school. And then when I left for grad school and they, killed the theater department, which I'm sure was my fault. But it's okay, because when I graduated, they brought it back. So, it's all good now. But my favorite times and memories with Claude were when I would sit with him during dress rehearsal week and observe him just directing, and he'd talk about the lighting, and he'd talk about directing, and he doesn't know how much he taught me just by that. So it would be kind of cool someday to try doing directing, but probably I won't. But anyway, Claude, it has been a pleasure working with you. And I very much appreciate the opportunity that you gave me all those years ago to come and really expand my horizons and spread my wings and do this wonderful job. Thank you so much.
I have a new accoutrement, but it's temporary. All right. Well, I'm, as you can see, Bill Symington. Claude and I met 20-some years ago, actually doing Sedona Shakespeare. Jeff Thompson was up here mentioning that. Jeff was my mentor in grad school. Theater can be an incredibly small world in that way. So Jeff brought me in to essentially be the technical director for Sedona Shakespeare for a few years, and I met Claude up there. And we just had great conversations about theater and art and music and life, and those things grew and grew, and it was actually during the time, part of the time that this place was dark. And at that time I worked at ASU in lyric opera theater, in the musical theater at ASU. And so Claude came out and lit some shows that I designed. I act as a scenic designer most of the time. And they were beautiful, and he was so fun and easy to work with. Eventually he came and directed a show out there for us as well, The Boyfriend. And one of the things I remember the most from that time was we'd always have a break during Q to Qs or 10 out of 12s, long days, and we would walk to one of the many Starbucks on campus at ASU. And we would talk about the show, but also all of those other things. We just had a lot of shared interests and things. It would also go into deeper things like politics and philosophy and life. And, mentors come in a lot of shapes and forms. And he was certainly one for me. While I wasn't a student here, I've certainly been a student of Claude's, for certain. I've been here 12 years, and I feel like I've done some of the best work I've ever done here. And that is in no small part to Claude's influence and working with him. He's so easy to work with, so excited on every new play, even if it's one he's done many times or I've done many times, to explore a new way of approaching it and having those fun conversations, and you always learn something from them. So I love working with him. That's not done. We're still going to do a lot of shows together, I'm sure, but he's certainly been a mentor and continues to be for me here. I know so many of you students out there have that same experience, and so being his colleague and friend, but also a student of his in many ways, has been my honor as well. So this is much deserved, obviously, and I look forward to all the other people you're going to continue to influence as you continue to direct and talk about art, and congratulations. So.
Not part of the show. I really want to give this back because I know how you get nervous when you don't have it. All right. For 40 years, Claude Pensis has lived within the confines of these walls with us, his adopted misfit children. He opened the doors to Ibsen, Chekhov, and Stoppard, while teaching us how to take care of the text, this space, and each other. We went on from here with his voice in the back of our heads, handing out jolly Fs when he knew we could handle it, and affirming C-minuses when he knew we needed them. We went on from here to pursue our lives, whether they included theater or not, knowing better how to be ourselves, because we had so much practice on this stage being other people. Many of us made the best friends we've ever known here. Some of us met our spouses here. Some of us have even seen our children walking the very same boards we once did, all in the house that Claude built, saved, and in 2010 resurrected from the dead. At the beginning of this evening, we talked about the impermanence of theater, how it's here and then it's gone, traveling at the speed of light. What we didn't talk about was Claude's ability to capture light and preserve it. It's evident in the light of God you poured into all of us, but it's also why you're so good at capturing it with your camera. We know your love of photography, and we'd like to present you with this gift as a permanent way of our time to remember, a permanent way to remember your time with us. David Plowden has printed a copy of his Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad Station, Scranton, Pennsylvania, 1964. If Deborah Lawrence is here, I know she was trapped on the freeway. Here she comes. She's going to bring it up onto the stage, and we'd like to present it to you, Mr. Pensis, if you'd like to come on down and join us. It's just a prop. I hope that you take that as our way of saying thank you for 40 years of giving light to all of us. We'd now like to ask Dr. Baird to come lead us in a prayer of thanksgiving to God for blessing this place and these people through your service. So Dr. Baird, if you'd come on up and take the microphone.
Let's pray. Father of lights, Father of creation, who put within us the spark of creativity, Father of children who have been born again to live in the freedom of your grace. Our Father, today we come to thank you and praise you. First of all, I want to thank you and praise you for this place. It is a special place to us. It's been a wonderful part of our lives. We praise you for what it's meant to us and what Mr. Pensis made it for us, for this stage and this theater and for this school. Lord, it's a very special place. We prayed together here. We acted together. We sang and danced together. We expended our energies and poured out our hearts and our minds. We fed each other lines when we forgot them. Lord, it's a very special place for us. We praise you and thank you for that. But we also thank you for a very special person, for Claude Pensis, who many years ago came here with his family. He became a good friend to us. He became a patient mentor. He became a firm director. He became a faithful servant of your cause here in this place. We thank you for Claude Pensis, the gift that you gave to us, gift of grace through Claude. Father, we also want to ask you to pour out your favor upon Mr. Pensis as he goes into another phase of his life. Lord, we pray that you would guide him and protect him, that you would give him good health, give him pleasant memories. Lord, we pray that you would pour out your blessings upon him so that he can continue to bless his family and his community and continue to bless us. And so we pray for him. Father, we offer these praise and these prayers for Mr. Pensis because of what he did here and for what he will continue to do. And we offer this in the name of and for the glory of the Father and the Son. Amen.
Off stage, it came to my attention that a crew of, I don't know how to say this, a crew of patches, rude mechanicals that work for bread upon Athenian stalls were met together to rehearse a play intended for Great Claude's celebration day. Ladies and gentlemen, in the one piece of the night not written by Stephen Sondheim, please welcome the cast of A Midsummer Night's Dream Past. It's a tedious, brief scene of young Pyramus and his love Thisbe. It's very tragical mirth. Well, I'm not going to do it by myself, am I? This reminds me of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. What if nobody interesting comes on? Hamlet! Your turn. So it's a tedious, brief scene of young Pyramus and his love Thisbe. Very tragical mirth.
Merry and tragical, tedious and brief. That is hot ice and wondrous strange snow. How shall we find the concord of this discord?
A play there is, my lord, some 10 words long, which is as brief as I have known a play. But by 10 words, my lord, it is too long, which makes it tedious. For in all the play there is not one word apt, not one player fitted. And tragical, my lord, it is, for Pyramus therein doth kill himself, which, when I saw rehearsed, I must confess, made mine eyes water. But more merry tears the passion of loud laughter never shed.
I will hear this play.
No.
Yes.
No, sir. My noble lord, it is not for you. I've heard it over, and it is nothing in the world, unless you can find sport in their intents, extremely stretched and conned with cruel pain to do you service.
I will hear this play, for never anything can be amiss when simpleness and duty tender it. Go, bring them in, and take your places.
Your Grace, the prologue is addressed.
If we offend, it is with our good will. Then you should think we come not to offend, but with goodwill. To show our simple skill, that is the beginning of our end. Consider then, we come not but in despite. We do not come as minding to content you. Our true intent is all for your delight. We're not here. That you should here repent you. The actors are at hand, and by their show you shall know all that you are like to know.
This fellow doth not stand on points.
He hath read his prologue like a rough colt. He knows not the stop. A good moral, my lord. It is not enough to speak, but to speak true.
Indeed. He hath played on this prologue like a child with a recorder. A sound, but not in government.
His speech was like a tangled chain, nothing impaired, but all disordered. Who is next?
Gentles, perchance you wonder at this show, but wonder on till truth make all things plain. This man is Pyramus, if you would know. This beauteous lady, this man, with lime and rough cast, doth present wall, that vile wall which these lovers did sunder. And through this wall's chink, poor souls, they are content to whisper, at the which let no man wonder. This man, with lantern, dog, and bush of thorn, presenteth moonshine. For, if you will know, by moonshine did these lovers think no scorn to meet at Nana's tomb. There. This grisly beast, which Lion hides by name, the trusty beast, coming first by night, did scare away, or rather did affright. And as she fled, her mantle did fall, which Lion vile with bloody mouth did stain. Anon, fearless, sweet, youth and tall, and finds his trusty Thisbe's mantle slain. Whereat, with bloody, blameful blade, he bravely broached his boiling, bloody breast. He and Thisbe, tarrying in mulberry shade, his dagger drew and died. For all the rest, let Lion, Moonshine, Wall, and lovers twain at large discourse, while here they remain.
I wonder if the lion be to speak.
No wonder, my lord. One lion may when many asses do.
In this same interlude, it doth befall that I, one Snout by name, present a wall. And such a wall as I would have you think that had in it a cranny hole or chink, through which the lovers Pyramus and Thisbe did whisper often, very secretly. This loam, this rough cast, and this stone doth show that I am that same wall. The truth is so. And in this cranny is, right and sinister, through which the filthy lovers are to whisper.
Would you desire lime and hair to speak better?
It is the wittiest partition that ever I heard discourse, my lord.
Bear mistrust new.
O grim-looked night, O night with hue so black, O night whichever art when day is not, O night, alack, alack, alack. I fear my Thisbe's promises forgot, and thou, O wall, O sweet, O lovely wall that stands between her father's ground and mine, thou wall, O sweet and lovely wall, show me thy chink to blink through with mine eyne. Thanks, courteous wall. Jove, she'll be well for this. But what see I? No Thisbe do I see, O wicked wall, through whom I see no bliss. Cursed be thy stones for thus deceiving me.
The wall, methinks, should curse again, being sensible.
So no, in truth, he should not. He's not doing anything. Deceiving me, it's Thisbe's cue. She's gonna enter now, and you'll see it come to pass. But keep it. Yonder.
Oh, wall.
Oh, wall! Full often hast thou heard my moans for parting my fair Pyramus and me. My cherry lips have often kissed thy stones. Thy stones with lime and hair made up to thee.
I see a voice! Now, I will to the chink to spy, and I can hear my Thisbe's face. Thisbe!
My love? Thou art my love? I think.
Oh, think what thou wilt. I am thy mother's grace, and like Lenander am I trusty still.
And I, like Helen, until the fates be killed.
Oh, not shaftless to Procrus was so true.
As shaftless to Procrus, I to you.
Oh, kiss me through this hall of the vile wall.
I kiss the wall's whole, not your lips at all.
Wilt thou at Ninny's tomb meet me straightway?
Tide life, tide death, I come without delay.
Less have I wall, my part discharged so. And being done, thus wall doth away go.
Now the wall is down between the two neighbors.
No remedy, my lord, when walls are so willful to hear without warning.
This is the silliest stuff that ever I heard.
The best of this kind are but shadows, and the worst are no worse, if imagination amend them.
It must be your imagination then, and not theirs.
If we imagine no worse of them than they themselves, they may pass for excellent men. Here come two noble beasts, a man and a lion.
Ladies, you whose gentle hearts do fear the smallest monstrous mouse that creeps on floor, may now perchance both quake and tremble here, when lion rough in wildest rage doth roar. Then know that I, as Snug the joiner, am a lion fell, nor else no lion's dam. For if I should as lion come in strife into this place, 'twere pity on my life.
A very gentle beast, and of a good conscience.
The very best of the beast, my lord, that e'er I saw.
This lion is a fox for his valor.
True. And a goose for his discretion.
Not so, my lord, for his valor cannot carry his discretion, and the fox carries the goose.
His discretion, I'm sure, cannot carry his valor, for the goose carries not the fox. It is well. Leave it to his discretion, and let us listen to the moon.
This lanthorn doth the horned moon present.
He should have worn the horns on his head.
He is no present, and his horns are invisible within the circumference.
This lanthorn thorn doth the horned moon present. Myself the man in the moon do seem to be.
This is the greatest error of all the rest. The man should be put into the lantern. How else is he the man in the moon?
He dares not come there for the candle, for you see it is already in snuff.
I am a weary of the moon. Would he would change.
It appears by his small light of discretion that he is in the wane. But yet, in courtesy, in all reason, we must stay the time.
Proceed, moon.
All that I have to say is to tell you that the lanthorn is the moon. I, the man in the moon, this thorn bush, my thorn bush, and this dog, my dog.
Why, all these should be in the lanthorn, for all these are in the moon. But silence. Here comes Thisbe.
This is old Benny's tomb. Where is my love?
Roar!
Well run, Thisbe.
Well shown, moon. Truly the moon shines with a good grace.
Well moused, Blood.
And then came Pyramus.
And so the lion vanished.
Sweet moon, I thank thee for thy sunny beams. I thank thee, moon, for shining now so bright. For by thy gracious golden, glittering gleams, I trust to take of Thisbe's sight. But stay, O spite, but mark, poor night. Mark it, mark it. Eyes do you see? How can it be? Oh, dainty duck, oh dear. My man's so good. What? Stained with blood? Approach, ye furies fell. Oh, fates, come, cut thread and crumb, quail, crush, conclude and quell.
This passion and the death of a dear friend would go near to make a man look sad.
Beshrew my heart, but I pity the man.
Wherefore, nature, didst thou lion's frame, since lion vile hath deflowered my dear, which is which was the fairest dame that ever lived, loved, light, that looked upon sheer. Oh! Come tears, confound! Outsword and wound thy path of Pyramus. The path where heart doth pant. Thus I die. Thus go. Now am I dead. Now am I fled. My soul is in the sky. Tongue, take thy right. Moon, take thy flight. Now, die! Die! This nose is white! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! My organs! What liver? Kidney! The other kidney! The large intestine! The small intestine! No!
No die, but an ace for him, for
case, man, for he's dead. He's nothing.
With the help of a surgeon, he might yet recover. And yet, prove an ass.
How chance moonshine is gone before Thisbe comes and finds her lover.
She shall find him by starlight.
Asleep, my love? What? Dead? My love? Oh, Pyramus, rise! Oh, speak! Speak! Quite dumb! Dead! Dead! A tomb must cover thy sweet eyes! Those lily lips, those cherry nose, those yellow cowslip cheeks are God! Are God! Lovers! Lovers make moan! His eyes were as green as leeks. Oh, sisters three! Come to me with hands as pale as milk. Lay them in gore, since you have showered. Come, trusty sword, come, blade my breast in bureau. And farewell, friends. Thus Thisbe ends. Adieu. Adieu. Adieu.
Moonshine and Lion are left to bury the dead.
No, and Wall too. I assure you that the wall that parted their fathers is down now. Will it please you to hear an epilogue, or maybe see a Bergomas dance between two of our company? It's me. I play both parts, and I would love to do it.
No epilogue, I pray you, for your play needs no excuse. Never excuse. For when the players are all dead, there need none be blamed. Marry, if he that writ it had played Pyramus and hanged himself in Thisbe's garter, it would have been a fine tragedy. And so it is, truly and notably discharged. The iron tongue of midnight hath told 12, lovers to bed. 'Tis almost fairy time.
Greetings, squad. This is Jen Hawkins coming to you from the idyllic Casa de Retirement in Mesa. I think at 40 years, you may be the longest actively serving faculty member in the history of the university. You might want to check that out. I was with you for about 30 of those 40 years, and I really appreciate your friendship and our professional collaboration. I mean, it is great to work with one of the best theatrical writing designers in the state for many years. Really enjoyed not only the productions that you put on, you put on, but also the times that I was able to work with you as a dramaturg. Friendship on a professional level, but also, again, thanks for friendship on a personal level. You've been a great friend and colleague over the years. I wish you all the best. University's been lucky to have you. And I've been lucky to be your friend.
Hi, it's Becky Brickman here in North Carolina. Class of 2002 from GCU. Here in North Carolina. Class of 2002 from GCU. Just calling in to say congratulations.
Hello, Claude. Congratulations. 40 years
we're doing all my sons, I remember that there were a number of
there were a number of improv moments or ad-libs that I added. I just remember thinking that was really cool that you thought that those things that I had added
once again, congratulations.
That was something that was very special to me. So, once again, congratulations.
Hi, Mr. Pensis. It's Juliet Rose Serrato. I'm here at the Globe Theater, as you can tell. And I just wanted to wish you every happiness. And I wanted to thank you for your 40 years of service. And I owe a lot to you and to the theater program at Canyon. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
Hey everybody, my name is Dave Hook. Went to Grand Canyon College at that time, 1980 to 84. I think I was amongst the first generation with Claude. This is me my senior year, playing the part of Pippin. I think that was Prayer for a Duck, most favorite musical ever. Claude, you taught me so many things, the art of remaining teachable. You taught me about the power of alchemy, not about big vision and plans and architecture, but taking who and what you had and just making it work. That was the early days for you. You taught me about the power of story, knowing the story, knowing my role within it, and delivering that story with conviction in a way that changed lives. Here's a picture of my son. He met you this past year. I wish two things, Claude. I wish I can go back and spend a lot more time there in Ethington with you, and I wish my son could have done the same. I'm so thankful to be part of your life and your time there at Grand Canyon. Blessings.
Claude, congratulations on 40 years of service. It is an extraordinary testament of commitment to community. I'm Christine Stanley, class of 1999, and I'm coming to you from where I've worked the last decade, Signature Theater in our nation's capital. You gave me my very first job at Ethington, and tellingly, the arts remain the only field in which I have ever worked. And I believe that happened because you, along with Mr. Bridgman, led one of the very first artistic communities I was encouraged by you to be a part of. And frankly, it was so special, I never looked back. Your care and kindness and generosity and high standards and intellect set an example of how arts makers could thrive, and that legacy continues to influence me today. That ethos is what I strive to help make happen now. I wish I was there with you, but I'm so glad I have a chance to let you know how I feel. Though I imagine you're cringing a bit, please try to enjoy all the praise and feting. It is most well-deserved. Love to you all.
Hey Claude, it's Jackson Swain. Congratulations on 40 years of service. That is such an incredible accomplishment. I'm so honored and privileged to have been able to study under you, both as a director and as an actor. I'm actively using the lessons that you taught me currently in my career, and I'm so grateful to have been able to study under such an encouraging and knowledgeable theater artist. It was such a joy, and I'm so thankful for you and for the lessons you taught me. So congratulations on 40. Here's to more, and I wish you nothing but the best. Congratulations.
Hi, Claude. This is Elizabeth Grasham. I was your student in the theater department at Grand Canyon University from 2002 to 2006. Congratulations on 40 years of meaning making. I want to say a word that's a little different from maybe the other videos that have been shared. I'm not an actor. I didn't take my degree and go onto the stage with it. I've been an ordained minister for almost 15 years, and I wish that every minister had gotten a theater degree. Or maybe what I wish is that they'd gotten a theater degree from you. You see, your acting classes taught me to dig deep, to understand somebody else's motivations, and that has taught me how to have compassion for even the most difficult people. Your theater history classes taught me that art is not separate from, but is rather a response to the political realities that we live with. Your tech nights for all those productions we did taught me that all good creative events require real planning skills and volunteer management. Your lighting class taught me, well, that you can't be good at everything, and you really should cultivate appreciation for those people who do well what you cannot do. I think that I'm a good minister because I have applied the lessons that you taught me 20 years ago. So thank you for that.
Claude, 40 years of service is incredible. I'm so glad that you're here, that you're doing what you do, and that what you've done for the students. I don't know what I'm saying, but this is incredible, and I'm so sorry that I cannot be there to celebrate with you and everyone else that's right there with you. But this is, I appreciate everything that you've done and everything that you continue to do, and I hope that life just continues to be fantastical for you.
Hi, Claude. Thank you so much for all that you did at GCU, bringing the world more truth and beauty and goodness. It's truly reached from the little corner of West Phoenix throughout the whole world. I love how you always made us strive not just for good, but for excellence. It's affected my life in the best of ways. I still think about theater all the time, in my shows, in relationships, and most especially in my faith. And I know that that is because of the great, excellent program that you developed at GCU. It really helped us grow not just as students, but as people.
Hey there, my name's Scott Brigman. I'm coming to you today from the stage of Pike Auditorium on the campus of Southwest Baptist University here in Bolivar, Missouri, where coincidentally, our colors are also white and purple. I'm in my 15th year here. I serve as the director of Pike Auditorium and AV integration, and I have my own AV company as well. I love working with my students, and I attribute much of that to my time spent at GCU with Claude and Paul and Libby and Nola and all the others. And I want to take this opportunity today to wish a wonderful day to Claude. Congratulations for 40 years of service at GCU. Congratulations, Claude.
Hey, Claude. It's Patrick Page. Please excuse me. I'm in my costume and makeup for Hades Town. It's intermission. I'm about to go out and do the second act, actually, but I really wanted to get this done. I don't know when you need it, so I want to get it done right now, which is to say congratulations. I remember as one of the greatest and most satisfying artistic collaborations of my entire career, the work we did on A Midsummer Night's Dream. I remember the challenge that I threw you, which is that I didn't want to give you a great deal of preparation, only a very general idea of the kind of lights we might need. And then on the night, play and set things, and some things which were quite peculiar that I was asking for. And it was such play, and it was so inventive, and it was so fun, and so collaborative, and such a partnership. The way you stepped into that challenge and played. We do plays, and they should be fun. And I remember coming into work that evening, driving in that day with the tech. I think we only had one. And thinking to myself, sort of girding myself up, that tech is supposed to be difficult. And we're going into the difficulty of tech. And I remember saying to myself, now why are you doing that? Go in and play. And you joined me in that. And not only did we create a beautiful show, and you created extraordinary lights, but we played. We had fun. Thank you.
Is that new? This is the same one, right? They didn't change it up? Okay. Claude has directed over 150 shows here at Grand Canyon University. And you witnessed some of the videos of folks who couldn't be here but really wanted to. This next portion of our night is the last portion. It's about 10 more minutes of slides over the last 40 years. After that, we're going to bring the house lights up, and then we're going to love to have you join us out in front of the theater for a reception. So for the last time tonight from this spot, I'm going to say thank you, but just give a hug to all the people who put this thing together. They're all around. Find them and give them a high five.